yeah, if I can have a moment to rant about something that does bug me a little bit, and that is the general philosophy of tech companies of letting everyone else make content for them for free. So for those of you that have not been watching the news the last little while, Australia and Facebook have all but come to digital blows at this point over Australia's new legislation that forces companies to forces the internet media companies, if you will, the social media companies, to pay for content that is being put together by other companies. So Facebook and Google are probably two of the biggest companies in the world and most renowned for using a lot of other people's content, and there's a whole whack of issues in there. But basically, what Australia did is said that you cannot put the news on your website, put news that is published by other companies onto your website, and show ads over it without compensating the companies that actually wrote the content. And it's funny. It's a tough sort of little digital world we work in. Like, at what point do you pay for content? If you link to somebody's content, do you have to pay to link to their content to demonstrate to it? And I think there is maybe a little room for discretion in there, but I tend to agree with what the Australian government has done, and says that either you will either enter contracts with the companies whose content you are displaying to pay them, compensate them for the content you're displaying, or we'll send you to arbitration, and that arbitration will determine an amount that you have to pay for that content. Because at the end of the day, Google and Facebook and, of course, YouTube and Twitch and everybody else, and here I am streaming on Twitch as an irony, as a bit of irony for the whole thing, but to make my rant here. But all of these companies expect everybody else to make content for them for free so that they can derive ad revenue from displaying ads above the content that they did not create. They created the system that shows some of the content, but they did not create the content, and they want the content to be given to them for free so that they can make money off of it. And so I do take a lot of issue with Google and Facebook. I have a whole lot of problems with Facebook, so don't even get me started too much on Facebook, but I feel no pity for Facebook. They want users to create everything for them for free with no compensation, create huge platforms full of information, full of opinions and news and everything else, and not pay a cent for it, and then make money off of it, make money off the ads. And I know the platform is not free to run. I know you guys are going to argue right away, well, it's not free to run these web servers and web services, and I'm okay with that. But that has to be part of your cost model as well, is compensating the people who created the content. Your only cost is not just providing a platform, but if you are displaying content that is copyrighted by other people, you need to compensate them for it. And that does bug me a lot, that Facebook is arguing so vehemently against it, because they know that they've been getting a free ride for a long time on the backs of their users who create content that other people want to see, and so hence other people log into the network and see the ads that are displayed. Google is also an interesting study, and Google's been a little bit more proactive about it and has gone ahead and made agreements with a lot of news organizations to compensate them for what's displayed on their website. Google is, again, it's kind of it's not an easy thing to necessarily say it's black and white, it is right or wrong, because Google, in its origins anyways, was a search engine. All it was a collection of links to other things. And in that sense, I don't think Google should necessarily pay money for links for people searching for things. If they provide a link to another website and say, here's the website with this information on it, and here's the link to it. Go to that website if you want to find out about anything. You want to research all about widgets. You type in widgets and it comes up with a list of web pages. You click on the web page and you go to the actual web page. Google has then provided a service by being a search engine. Where Google has started to cross the line is that they are also displaying the contents of those pages now on their website in such a way that you don't even need to visit their website. And you search for almost anything. And the first couple of entries that come up are often excerpts, summaries from other websites, like Wikipedia is one of the most common ones. You search for almost anything. Let's see if I, just as an example, if I search for PMDG, just because it's the first thing I can think of, because we're sitting here in a PMDG airplane. So if I Google PMDG, I get this information here, but they also have these little sidebars of information. So I get the actual website links, and this is fine. because these are just links. They don't give you very much information. But when you start to get these little sidebars, when you start to search for a movie, you know, and just to use an example, so if you just search for Harry Potter, all this information that's displayed here, you know, this is content that somebody else created, and Google is now showing ads over it. Lots of ads over here, making money off the ads. And you don't even have to visit this person's website anymore because Google has now extracted the information and is showing it on here. So a lot of this is from Wikipedia. Wikipedia could use that money, frankly. But that's just sort of typical of a lot of the things that Google does now, is they're now displaying more than just search results. They're also taking other people's information and showing it and displaying an ad over it. And I could read enough on here to get an idea of what Harry Potter is without ever seeing what's... without ever seeing this actual website, and maybe seeing an ad and compensating this website. And ditto for their news sites, where they display news that is that is written by other companies on their website, and they show the ads, and they get the ad revenue half the time over it because they keep people contained in their own website. And that's where I do tend to agree with the government of Australia that Google is making all this ad revenue off of content that other people are creating, and I do take a lot of issue with that. So I tend to agree with that approach. I think that these companies expect everything. And what was another example they were just talking about? Twitter has like a moderation algorithm now that's supposed to flag content that may not be correct, but part of it is crowdsourced. Part of it is determined by how many people who see that tweet. Click on it and say this information may be erroneous, or say no, this information appears to be factual, and it's just crowdsourced. And Twitter is expecting their user base to, without compensation, to police their own network, and that's not going to. And if there's no kind of incentive to do it properly, then that's never going to be a very good idea. Then it's just simply the loudest voice is going to say, well, this must be the truth, regardless of the actual factual nature of it. Just the loudest voices are going to say this must be truth. So first of all, having a whole moderation system that is based on the unpaid contributions of your user base, I think is a pretty poor way to run a moderation system. But again, it speaks to, and there's Jacksonville Center. It speaks volumes to all these tech companies that want something for nothing. They want people to do things for them, create content for them, and expect nothing in return. And it's funny how the wheel has turned in the opposite direction now. It used to be very much that people expected a lot of stuff for free on the web and expected these companies to pay for it. And well, now the wheel has turned around, and now these companies expect their users to provide things to them for free. I, for one, am not going to do it for the most part. That being said, here I am streaming on Twitch, so maybe I'm a bit hypocritical to say it, but definitely when people are using content that other people are being paid to create, they need to be compensated for it.